All right, let's lock in for a second. You ever notice how two people can live in the same world with the same chances, the same 24 hours, and one of them builds wealth, freedom, and purpose while the other keeps spinning their wheels year after year? It's not about luck. It's not about background. It's not even about education. It's about one simple truth. The rich think differently. Most people wake up reacting to life, chasing bills, chasing time, chasing comfort. But the rich, they wake up creating life. They move different because they think different. While most people say, I can't afford that, the wealthy ask, how can I make that happen? That one question, that one mindset shift changes everything. Listen, the reason you don't have what you want right now isn't because you're not capable. It's because yours a mindset hasn't caught up to your potential. The rich don't just talk about goals. They live by principles. They think long term. They see opportunity and struggle. They build systems while others chase shortcuts. And I need you to hear me on this. You can learn that mindset. You can rewire how you think, how you move, and how you see yourself. You can stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a builder. The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't a miracle. It's a mental shift. So in this message, I'm not just going to motivate you. I'm going to show you how to flip the switch. Because once your mind changes, your habits change. And when your habits change, your whole life changes. Let's go. It's time to start thinking like the rich and living like the unstoppable. You know what separates the rich from everybody else? It's not money. It's not connections. It's not some secret network you're not a part of. It's how they see things. When most people face a problem, they freeze. They complain. They focus on what's missing, what's broken, what's hard. But the rich, they don't see problems. They see opportunities wrapped in challenge. They look at the same situation you're looking at and say, there's a way through this. There's something in here for me. See, that's the shift. Most people spend their energy talking about what they can't control. They'll say, man, the economy's bad, or I don't have the right tools, or it's just not my time. The rich don't talk like that. They ask better questions. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? They say, how can I make this work for me? And that one question, that one mental adjustment changes the entire game. You got to understand something. Every opportunity in life comes disguised as a problem. Every door that leads to success starts locked. The difference is the rich don't walk away when it's locked. They find a key or they make one. When life throws a wall in front of them, they don't complain about the wall. They start building stairs because they know the opportunity is on the other side. Look, it's not that the rich have easier lives. They just have stronger perspectives. When the average person says, I can't do this, the rich say, I can learn this. When most people get hit with rejection, the rich don't quit. They analyze. They adapt. They ask, what's this trying to teach me? That's why they keep growing. That's why their results compound. Because they've trained their minds to see possibility instead of pain. If you want to rise, you've got to start thinking like that. You've got to stop letting obstacles dictate your attitude. You've got to flip the script. Every time something goes wrong, don't just sit there and sulk. Ask yourself, what's the opportunity hiding inside this? Because it's there. It's always there. The difference between those who win and those who quit is how fast they shift from frustration to focus. The rich don't avoid the storm. They learn to navigate through it. They understand that struggle isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every obstacle is building a muscle. Every setback is sharpening a skill. They embrace that process because they know that inside every hard moment, there's a seed of success waiting to grow. And if you can train yourself to see like that, to focus on opportunities instead of obstacles, you'll stop waiting for life to change and you'll start changing life. Let me tell you something. Wealth doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mind. Most people think if they just had more money, everything would change. But the truth is, if you don't change the way you think, that money won't stay. Because money doesn't fix your mindset. Your mindset attracts and multiplies money. That's why so many people win the lottery and end up broke. They change their income, but not their identity. You can't build wealth with a broke mindset. The rich understand this on a deep level. They don't wake up thinking about money. They wake up thinking about value. They think about creating, building, solving problems, and helping people. That's the mindset that builds empires. While most people are focused on surviving, the wealthy are focused on expanding. And that's why they keep growing, because their thoughts are aligned with abundance, not scarcity. You've got to understand wealth isn't a number. It's a way of thinking. The rich think in terms of possibility. They ask, how can I make this work? Instead of, can I afford this? They understand that the mind is the first factory of fortune. Everything you see, every business, every skyscraper, every movement started as a thought in someone's mind. The mind is the origin of every reality. That means if your thoughts are limited, your results will be limited too. Most people were never taught how to think wealthy. They were taught to trade time for money, to play it safe, to work hard but never own anything. And that's not your fault. That's programming. That's generations of people passing down fear instead of faith. But you have the power to break that cycle. You can reprogram your mind for wealth. You can learn to think differently, to see differently, to expect more from yourself and from life. When you start thinking wealthy, your actions start changing automatically. You stop wasting energy on things that don't move you forward. You stop chasing every shiny distraction. You start investing in your mind, your skills, your network, your purpose. You begin to understand that wealth isn't something you chase. It's something you ought become. The rich don't think, if I get money, I'll be successful. They think, if I become valuable, money will find me. That's a completely different game. They're not chasing dollars. They're developing disciplines. They're not hustling for approval. They're building systems that serve people. That's why even if they lose everything, they can build it back again, because you can take away their money, but you can't take away their mindset. So if you really want wealth, stop asking for money. Start asking for understanding. Learn how to think the way the rich think, because once your mind becomes wealthy, the difference between the rich and everyone else is that the rich think long term. They don't get caught up chasing fast money or instant gratification. They're building something that lasts. Most people want to win now. They want to see the reward today, the success tomorrow, the results next week. But the rich, they're willing to plant seeds today and wait years for the harvest, because they understand that real wealth takes time, patience, and vision. The reason most people stay stuck is because they live in reaction mode. They make emotional decisions. If it doesn't pay off right away, they quit. They switch plans, chase new trends, and wonder why nothing ever sticks. But the rich have learned to delay gratification. They've trained themselves to play the long game. They don't make decisions based on how they feel. They make decisions based on where they're off going. Error C, most folks are looking for a paycheck. The rich are building pipelines. They're not focused on what's easy today. They're focused on what's unsustainable tomorrow. They understand that temporary pleasure costs permanent progress. That's why they invest when others spend. That's why they build assets when others buy distractions. It's not because they're lucky. It's because they've mastered discipline. They can say no to what feels good right now because they're locked in on what's coming later. You've got to get this. Success isn't about speed. It's about direction. The rich aren't in a hurry because they know they're playing a different game. While most people want to show off, they want to build up. They're thinking generationally. They're not just making money for themselves. They're creating systems, structures, and strategies that'll outlive them. That's legacy thinking. When you shift your mindset from short-term hustle to long-term vision, everything changes. You stop jumping from idea to idea and start committing to a process. You stop chasing hype and start building habits. You stop asking, how fast can I get it? And start asking, how long can I keep it? Because it's not about how quickly you rise. It's about how long you last. And let's be real, the long game is not easy. There will be moments when it looks like it's not working, when no one believes in your vision, when you question why you even started. That's where most people quit. But the rich, they stay the course. They know that consistency compounds. They know that what you do daily is far more powerful than what you do occasionally. So if you want to think like the rich, stop thinking about the next 24 hours and start thinking about the next 24 years. Stop focusing on the quick win and start building the foundation that can't be shaken. Because the rich don't chase moments. They create movements, or life can't help but follow. The rich have mastered something most people never learn. They know how to turn problems into leverage. See, while most folks run from difficulty, the wealthy runs toward it. They understand that every problem is just a disguised opportunity. Where others see a wall, they see a door waiting to be kicked open. That's why they keep rising while everyone else stays stuck. They don't waste time complaining about the challenge. They use it to build momentum. When something goes wrong, the average person says, man, I can't catch a break. But the rich, they say, this is my chance to level up. They don't just react. They respond with intention. They've trained their minds to look for lessons, to find leverage, to flip the situation in their favor. That's what separates them. It's not that life treats them differently. It's that they think differently about what life throws at them. Look, the truth is, problems are part of progress. There's no growth without pressure. There's no breakthrough without resistance. But most people spend so much energy avoiding struggle that they never experience success. The rich figured out a long time ago that if you want to grow, you've got to embrace discomfort. You've got to lean into the hard stuff. You've got to learn how to extract value from the very thing that was meant to break you. Every successful person you admire, they didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they turned pain into purpose, failure into feedback, and setbacks into setups. When something knocked them down, they didn't just get back up. They studied the fall. They learned why it happened, how to prevent it, and how to come back stronger. That's leverage. That's the power of perspective. The rich look at problems and think, how can I use this? When the market crashes, they don't panic, they position. When a deal falls through, they don't cry, they create. When doors close, they build new ones. Because they know that the problem isn't the end, it's the introduction to innovation. It's the moment where creativity is born. The pressure forces them to think bigger, move smarter, and act faster. And let's be real, We all face problems. No one's exempt. The difference is what you do with them. The poor see problems as punishment. The rich see them as potential. Every time life tests them, they ask, what is this trying to teach me? How can I turn this into power? That mindset is what builds wealth. It's what builds character. It's what builds freedom. So stop running from your problems. Face them. Study them. Use them. Because the thing that feels like it's standing in your way might actually be the thing that takes you all the way. Listen to me. Anybody can learn to think like the rich. It's not some secret club. It's not something you're born into. It's a skill you can build. The problem is, most people never decide to learn it. They keep repeating the same patterns, listening to the same voices, surrounding themselves with the same energy. And they wonder why nothing changes. But once you make that decision, once you commit to changing how you think, you unlock a level of power you didn't even know you had. See, the rich don't have different brains, they have different beliefs. They've trained their minds to look for solutions, not excuses. They've built habits around progress, not comfort. And you can do that too. You can rewire your thinking. You can shift your perspective. You can learn how to think, move, and act in alignment with success. It's not magic, it's mindset. But here's the part nobody wants to talk about. It takes work. It takes intentional effort every single day. You can't just read one book or watch one video and expect to think differently. You've got to train your mind the way athletes train their bodies. The rich feed their minds with wisdom, knowledge, and possibility, not gossip, fear, and negativity. They protect their mental environment like their life depends on it because it does. You can't grow in toxic soil. You've got to plant your thoughts in a mindset that supports growth. And let me be clear, this isn't about pretending or faking confidence. It's about rewiring your identity. The rich think differently because they see themselves differently. They don't wake up saying, I hope it works out. They wake up saying, I'm going to make it work. That's a whole different level of ownership. When you take full responsibility for your results, you step into the same mindset that builds wealth. You can start right now. You don't need millions in the bank to think rich. You just need discipline, clarity, and faith. Start thinking in terms of value, not cost. Start asking better questions. Start hanging around people who stretch your mind instead of shrinking your dreams. Because your environment either feeds your future or starves it. The people you spend time with are shaping how you think, and how you think is shaping your life. Don't tell yourself it's too late or too hard. Every person who's built wealth had to start somewhere. They all had moments of doubt, fear, and failure, but they didn't stay there. They learned, they grew, they shifted. And you can too. The mindset of the rich isn't locked away. It's available to anyone willing to do the work. So stop waiting for your situation to change. Start changing the way you think about your situation. Because the moment your mind goes first, your life will follow.